What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the data points, what's really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is down 1.05%, 628 the low, 687 the high, and about 81 million shares being traded. 85 is the average. So a lot of money is getting into NIO today. What caused all of this kind of suppression during the pre-market? It was this. So NIO shares drop after Singapore Wealth Fund alleges revenue inflation. So kind of crazy stuff. And it's not new information. It's all throwing it back to like July 2022. So between August 2020 and July 2022, GIC did hold about 54+ million shares, and this is what they are alleging. So GIC claims their practice misled investors and artificially boosted NIO's stock price. So kind of crazy stuff. NIO did already respond, and ultimately they're saying that it's not new information. It's just all these allegations were made by Grizzly Research, which had a, I guess, short report back in June 2022, and clearly based on the timing. So June 2022, and this fund GIC did sell out July 2022. Clearly that was enough for them to kind of get out, right? So kind of crazy stuff if you think about it, but good to see NIO did respond straight away. And not to be all speculative, but I've been covering NIO for a very long time, and something like this just doesn't come out of left field, let alone from it like 3+ years ago. So the fact that it did get bought up like crazy, I feel like this was kind of planned. So possibly the Singapore Wealth Fund put this out so they possibly, maybe through subsidiaries and whatever else and their friends, bought the dip like crazy. That's just my opinion, of course. Obviously can't really prove that, but just the fact that once the market did open, it just went up like crazy goes to show that there wasn't really much kind of validity there, in my opinion, or at least the market doesn't see it as though. So kind of crazy stuff. Let me know your viewpoint on that. Aside from that, some updates that did come out. So it looks like ET5 Shadow Edition will be launched tomorrow. So this looks pretty sleek, if you ask me. So very good looking right there. Aside from that, though, the only thing that really came out of value, so all new ES8 and Onvo L90 orders surge, which we already kind of knew that from previous articles and so forth. But it looks like they are going to be hiring a lot to kind of fulfill those production quotas. So it looks like they're going to be hiring 1,000 positions by the end of October. So that's kind of not an easy task, but nonetheless, this is, in my opinion, fairly bullish. So let me know your viewpoint on everything in the comments below. Like, do you think that the lawsuit is valid or not? Clearly, by NIO already responding in this nature, it goes to show that they intend on fighting it, which, to be fully honest, I don't kind of disagree with them. Like, NIO, for someone to come back 3+ years later, is just absolutely insane. And obviously begs the question, what is the GIC's kind of ulterior motives? Like I said, possibly just to artificially cause the price to sell off, thus having their friends and everyone else buy. So kind of interesting. Let me know your viewpoint on that. Shorts right now are returning 2.16 million shares. So again, by them returning on this very red day, goes to show that they feel like it's not justified. So they're taking advantage of kind of the overreaction, but 12.1% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 167.6 million shares overall being shorted. And just given NIO and everything it's about, I wouldn't be surprised if the GIC and some shorts are working together. So that's just, again, my viewpoint. Possibly as well, shorts could have easily returned during the pre-market or even during the overnight, made some pretty good money, and then of course they can kind of just buy this, and their friends, GIC's friends, could easily do that. So a lot of manipulation around NIO, but 6.3 million in calls, 1.78 in puts. 50% of all the options being done today are bullish in nature. As far as from the bull standpoint, there still is some optimism for it to be above $7 by the end of business day tomorrow. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 650. So where obviously we are at right now, pretty much level balanced right now. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So you do see two buys, 127,000, 111. The rest are sells. So big money's not really buying into the NIO recovery. Dark pool, we see two big transactions, so 4.2 and then 1.28. But dark pool is very active today, and dark pool is often enough used by hedge funds as well as shorts. So again, this is where a lot of the big transactions are kind of being hid. Aside from all that, with it right now at 679, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 617 is going to be that strong support. During the overnight trading, it actually did hit that when I actually saw it come out like at 1 a.m. or midnight, something like that. It was and did get kind of brought down to that 620. So kind of bounce off of this general area. Next kind of point to watch for is that $7 range. And that's exactly what I've been mentioning time and time again over the last several videos. This is a one-day chart as well, so very strong support and resistance points. If you're wanting more kind of closer knit, so if you want to day trade or whatever else, 708, 662 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So if you want to average down, dollar cost average or whatever, 662 might be that key point. But there hasn't really been all that much in analyst ratings, nothing whatsoever. So I'm still very shocked by the fact that NIO put out their monthly and also quarterly numbers and they didn't prompt really anything. So let me know your viewpoint on that. But on the actual chart itself, so today it's a very interesting day. So we had kind of polar opposites. So that pre-market did actually bring it down below that 50-day moving average. Luckily enough, it's kind of pushing higher. So still wedge bound between that 10-day and also 50-day moving averages. So that 10-day kind of signals with it being below that, just a little bit of not that good of momentum. Looking at the market position right now, you do see a little bit more willing kind of sellers in comparison to yesterday, so not the greatest. And you do see this little bit of a gap roughly around that 570 range. So if things get really bad, whether it be because of NIO specific stuff or potentially, let's say, the States and China, tensions start to rise, which luckily enough, I don't think anything's been posted today about it. If that does kind of tensions do rise, you could see some consolidation to that point, which kind of is what is being shown based on the Elliott wave technicals. So for those of you that remember, I think I brought it up like a week ago, it does actually indicate for as long as it is below that key pivot for it to hit between that about 569. At least in the short term. So again, it kind of does show that, but personally, I don't really see it hitting there, only because I don't really think that the tensions are going to really rise to that magnitude. So I think potentially today's news did kind of cause at least a temporary bottom. From here, it should in theory really move higher and possibly test that $7 range, at least in the next couple of trading days. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. But yeah, aside from all that though, you can kind of see that the algos are the primary kind of volume for NIO today. So let me know your thoughts on NIO in the comments below. Have you been buying? Did you catch the dip? Did you buy during the pre-market or in fact during the overnight when it was at like that 620 range? Or did you kind of sell out in fear of what that potentially could result in? Let me know your general thoughts. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.